So for those of you who haven't met James Freeman. How you doing, James?
Nice to see you.
You all right? James is
Gary.
here pretty much every day coaching, aren't you?
Yeah, doing it, yeah.
Full-time coach. And I
Yeah,
must
in
say,
the trenches.
for those of you that are not local, you're a very good playing pro as well. Still
Thank you very much.
competitive, playing and winning money, and I think that's why, I thought I'd really like to sort of be coached by you, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you're playing to a high level, you take care in your game, and from what I see on social media, you're kind of doing every element to keeping yourself fit and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
when there's time, yeah.
I think for me, like looking for a golf coach, I wanted to be coached by somebody that's actually playing golf themselves, And obviously, we're going to be playing an event together, aren't we?
We are.
Winter pair
6th
stuff.
of December at Selby, yeah. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get you pitching good for it.
Yeah, well, let's try.
Yeah.
So, guys, you're going to be a bit of a fly on the wall in this lesson. Obviously, it's not going to be a normal vlog. James is, golf coach. He's here to do a job, and but we're going to document it and just share what an actual, real good PGA professional golf lesson looks like.
Let's get stuck in. Just sticker.
Sorry, we've got us coffees, which is an absolute essential in the morning.
The day doesn't start.
So you've got
unless you've got
quad,
coffee.
haven't you?
Yeah, a GC quad. Yeah, we use that. It's very good. Doesn't miss many things. Gives us some great data in terms of launch and distance and stuff. So what we'll do is just sticker one or two of these up, and then we can sort of move up and around the wedges and then see what's happening really.
So basically, as we're playing a competitive match against two other PGA pros in a knockout, we've said we're going to focus a bit more on pitching, aren't we, today?
Pitching, yeah.
Because I think that's where my biggest weakness is. So we're going to start by just having a look at that. And I think if you've been watching the channel, you'll probably have picked up on that at some point.
Yeah. So just hit a few warm-ups.
Yeah.
We're just going to go down towards that little yellow flag there on that left wing. If you have a yardage, what do you tend to lay it up to?
What?
Like a favourite?
I try to get as close to green as I can, so I'm not hitting a pitch basically.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, this is stuff that these don't even know really. I try to leave a full wedge. I try to leave a 105-yard shot.
Right. Okay.
If I get between 105 and maybe like 50 yards, that's where I'm at my weakest, I reckon.
Okay. Like you say there, there's an array of flights.
Yeah.
Strike's not too bad, but if we check data there, so you're right in what you're saying. Pretty much of a full shot. If you went there, where's that? There. If you went on a full shot, it's 90.
Yeah.
And then if you look at anything else, the launch it's up at 39. So optimally, 39 is a little high.
Yeah.
So obviously, then we'll investigate why it's going a bit too high. So what I'd do now is I'm going to video a couple, slow it down, and just show you what's happening. I think, obviously, we probably need a bit more lean on the club.
Yeah.
Obviously, the angle of attack's down, which you'd expect from a good player. But it's a little bit. I think it's probably a little bit in to out for us in terms of a wedge. It's 5 degrees in to out. So. It's potentially worth looking into there. I think that's where we're going to start with that. But yeah, there's just a variety of flights. So I think if we can investigate the sort of bit in your setup to start with, and then just go from there.
So this is obviously uncoached.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just get one down the line as well. Okay. It's actually not bad. I do feel like there's a slight difference with the legs and the top half. I think the legs are, when we're talking with good players, it can be that little finite thing that makes the difference. But ball position's pretty central. The legs are set left, but I don't think there's probably enough weight on the left there.
Yeah.
As you sort of work it away. A little bit of a bump right. I think you shift across It just makes you hang, look. See how it just makes you hang? Your top half just hangs back a bit, which means you're just going to slide underneath it a little bit. I feel like if we sort of maintain the posture, I feel like we get a bit like there, just a bit that way.
Right, okay.
And then that kind of goes on its own.
And what you're saying, I needed to sort of like cover it more?
Yeah, you can cover it, yeah, definitely. I feel if you look there, there's flex in that left knee.
Yeah.
The hips are sort of gone this way a little bit.
It makes me feel sick, to be honest.
It's not that bad. But the thing is there, obviously, that dictates what you then do with your release pattern.
Yeah.
So obviously, if that release pattern, if your legs are going this way and the top half just drifts, then we're just going to add that little bit of loft. If you looked at that last one, it's up at 38. So I just feel like it's very difficult to then control your yardages if it's 38 1 minute, then 33, then. And I know it's obviously looking at data, but you match that with that, it links.
I know this sounds silly, but I'm quite a good visual learner. Could you visually show me, like, obviously on the camera, like how you like me to turn and move my body?
Definitely. All I just want to do there is I just want you to. I want to show you down the line as well. So obviously we're going to link that through. In terms of setup posture, I feel like there's not a lot of gap there between your hands and knees, as you can see. Obviously, it's a pitch, it's a short shot, but I still think that's really important. I think we could get this angle more, and the hips will be back slightly, which will make us avoid doing that. So you wind it away. See, there's no issues there. The face is pretty good.
That's where I always wonder if there's a problem where the shaft's so steep, or is that not a problem so much? I don't know.
I think there's not. I think it sits at that point there. It's nice because it sits. Your left arm's under your shoulder and the shaft's on your right forearm. If we're talking about that just for a second, I'd rather it be slightly steeper, and then you can feel this going on, as opposed to it going in and over. I think that's probably easier to do it this way, which what is what you're doing. But as you come down, you can see like that. We're almost. Can you see how the hips are almost pointing to the right? Which means that if we zoom in there, you can almost see that face. Look at that face. That face is almost to the right of us. It's almost flipped under. So if I was working on a couple of things with my body, what I'd do, how do you want me to do it? So what I would do is I would start.
Well, if I stand behind the camera or here viewing this,
so do it that way. So what I would do is I'd do it with sort of in terms of setup. I'd sort of make sure I've got a little bit of room there first. I feel like we're a bit in there. Obviously, then we're going to do that because we're kind of in the way of ourselves a bit. So what I'd do is reset my posture. Hips hinge from the hips down, a little bit of knee flex, and then obviously the arms are hanging with that gap.
I'm just laughing because there's going to be people I give lessons to saying, "Gaz, you tell me to do this."
You're not doing it.
Because I do all the time. Tilt from your hips, hand in a phone.
Practice what you preach. Well, the thing is, when you pay mind to this, you're gonna start your practice session with a bit more structure. One of the things I'd say to you is, when you're gonna start practicing, when you get on the practice ground, just set a station up, whether that's clubs or whether that's some kind of mirror
like
system,
triggers.
Exactly. I just think a lot of this is, I think, in terms of ball position, obviously we have these crossers which are great to use. I think they're great because obviously you're not having to bring your own stuff. But if you get that right to start with, I feel like the hip angle, I think the hip angle maintains what you'd want to do. I think if that stays there, your chest would slightly go forwards, if you like, there, and then you're on the ball, and you can absolutely apply what kind of shaft lean you want with it. Obviously, when the handle's forward, everything being equal, that kind of takes the leading edge off the ground. So we still need to maintain that low point. But I feel like that low point is you're gonna get this slightly past the ball,
Yeah.
which I think you'll win. You know, you'll sort of win the race there. You'll get there before the club.
Yeah.
I feel like before it was a bit like this and a bit like this,
Yeah.
which means we're just hanging that little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not major surgery. It's not like it's.
So what you're saying is the sternum gets in front of the ball, it's then got more time to get to the bottom of
Absolutely.
its arc.
Absolutely.
Sort of marry up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can. The thing with the low point, and obviously this is, sometimes I say centre, sometimes I sort of say, left pec and chest. If that's a head or armpit, if that's ahead of the ball, you're going to guarantee that we've got some of this going on.
Yeah.
When you looked on the camera there, the shaft was it might be okay at impact, but essentially it's doing this, which is obviously then it's adding, some days it's, some days you'll pitch it okay, but other days it'll be a bit like, well, it's a bit heavy and a bit behind it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do.
And that is certainly the case.
Which is great. I think sometimes what happens down here to the ball flight and you relate it to what you're doing, all of a sudden you get a bit of confidence to say, you know what, I'm on the right lines. Obviously it's nice to fix it yourself if you can, but obviously I'll always help you with it. So that's what I'd want to do now. And then what we'd do is to see the progress is basically just look at the flight, just see if we can keep that flight down, obviously with your most lofted wedge, and then see what that effect has on the others. Yeah. So let's get stuck back in. It's good. It's good. I'll have a check from down the line as well. Just make sure that you're on that. Great. So you've got that distance away. Good.
So I know I've not been doing this right because this feels very uncomfortable.
Does
now.
it? That's a good thing.
Obviously, I've got to get used to it. But I feel like I'm sort of reaching.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty good. And all I'd try and do is make sure as you're coming down into the ball, the chest kind of leads it really. Right. The chest leads it. If you want another sensation, just keep some flex in that right arm. So you keep the flex, chest over the ball, and that sort of stays like that. If we go a little bit like that and then this starts to go backwards on us, then we're going to struggle to keep that pressure on it. Because we still need plenty of pressure on a pitch, if we can. It's a very good shot.
Yeah, you're going to have to bear with me on this.
Hey, listen, I could be working on something for a year, but the thing is, I think pros in general, I'd be interested to see the flight on that one.
And only I'm just saying this, but now I'm starting to realise how difficult it is for people having lessons.
Definitely.
Because, obviously...
Definitely.
I've not been a student for a long time. No. But even just changing that deeper squat and ball position, I'm already almost forgot how to swing a golf club. I can
a little bit of that. It's good.
I don't know what happened there.
I think the main thing there is if I was to give you a way of practicing, everything's got, there's a technical element to it, a physical element and a mental element. So the technical element for us is split the balls up. So if you did it in piles of 3 or 4 or 5, whatever, and then four's quite nice in the winter, keeps things interesting. What I'd do is I'd just feel like I hit 4 from a new setup position. Right. So redo the setup 4 times, and then as you do reps, what I'd want you to do is just make it a bit more structured and then your attention shifts onto this. So your attention is set up for 4, and then what I'd do is I'd maybe go right arm for 4, and then just maybe another 4 just hitting. So what happens is and I think this is where we sometimes go wrong as coaches. Sometimes we flood the player and give them too much to do. I'm pretty simple in the sense that if I focus on one thing and do it really well, I think that's where you're going to get your biggest gains. Then have 4 where you just pick a yardage and then say 4 shots. If you're within +or-5
Yeah.
of the yardage, then you know you're nearly
I
there.
love that because it's splitting up into different elements, isn't it?
I
You
think
don't
so.
feel like too much pressure then.
Yeah.
I'm putting it all together in one. And do
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to take that into my own coaching.
I like that.
really
I think
like
it's
that.
good. I think the thing is, you'd never go into the gym and try and do a squat and a bicep curl at the same time.
No.
And I think you don't. I think what you do is you do the rep, you know, half focused, whereas this
Yeah.
gives us that focus. So make sure posture stays in, and you just control it with your chest. Chest stays over it. That was lovely.
Because I've got to admit, I were trying to do my arm and the posture at the same time.
Yeah.
And
it's very easy to go off because it's a small swing,
Yeah.
short swing. You think, well, I can deal with that, but sometimes you can't. It's very good. But what I think there is, I think that's pretty much fixed the strike. I feel like the strike's
you
better.
just said something key to me there, and you said keep your chest down.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I've done, but I'm trying to hit the ball, and I'm literally feeling as though my chest
Quite
just stays
level.
there.
Yeah, like that.
And I think before I've been sort of too keen to get up.
Yeah.
Here, you
Yeah.
know, into a finish position.
Definitely.
So I don't know, that has just triggered something. Them last two strikes were just different.
And just make sure when you stay on the ball, just make sure that the ball doesn't sort of drift around. Really be strong with. I mean,
position.
in an ideal world, I'd want it a club head inside the left heel, and then so on the other side. So just shift that way a little bit. So you go left heel.
This heel.
It's right. That's right heel.
Oh, sorry.
Left heel. The club head inside the left heel. Then what happens is, as you move on, you can actually progress the chest.
Yeah.
To then, if you wanted a little marker in terms of your body, you'd probably want to feel like your left shoulder is over your left knee.
Right.
And then you feel like you're covering it, but your chest stays over it.
That's
which I like.
That's interesting.
And I like that flared foot because then you can actually monitor where your loft's aiming. If it's aiming back at your foot, there's obviously a bit more loft on it. If it's straight at your heel, then you'll know where the loft is. It's good.
The quality of strike on the last three is definitely better.
It's definitely better. It's good shot.
Just for you guys, James was just saying ball position wise, I'm playing it inside the left heel.
Yeah.
Where I think I've been trying to play it too far back in my stance. Playing it sort of like way behind centre.
I just feel like if it gets too far back, and again, this is where this comes into its own. I know it's a simple, like a cross on the mat, but you've almost got a built-in station now. You could have another one. You could have some clubs here, sort of going in and out the gate, which is a lovely one. But obviously, then it's how much is too much. How much is, what are we working on and what we're trying to do with it.
That keeping my chest down longer has been a great little tip.
The strike's great.
Well, I've definitely got some information that I'd have never even thought about applying.
No.
In terms of that keeping my chest down, probably maybe picked up on camera that I were too close to it, and ball position, playing it off that front foot, that combination of them factors is really improving that interaction with floor, and that's literally like what I've been dying for.
Yeah.
It's just to have a bit better interaction with ground.
Yeah. But you can hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear the difference in. It's not clunky at all. It's not mat first. I know it's obviously mat, so you'd probably.
I'm looking forward to watching this back on camera because at the minute I don't feel as though I'm actually like finishing here, but I obviously am, aren't I? But I'm just staying in the shot. It might be a few seconds longer.
Fractionally. But I think that when you control it, you've got pec and chest there, and your bicep. That's what controls it. That's kind of, and then obviously your different swing lengths match with your different swing speeds. So you might go halfway and be able to hit it with this club 50, 60 and 70. That's super, that is. The keys to take away are setup. So I suppose that's the first thing because it starts static, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Setup is you'd use sort of your hand span or prints. Your ball position is good.
Yeah.
And then dynamically, obviously, things we're doing in the swing would be chest over the ball, making sure that you sort of feel like you're over that. The handle obviously stays ahead naturally, that's a byproduct. But I think that's a good shot. I think it's so much easier to then dial distances in once you've got that. Obviously, it's strike first, isn't it?
Yeah.
Strike first, and then you obviously can direct it. So I think that's one of the things. But there, look, there's sort of 37 launch, fine. We can do that. But it's 100 yards. So,
Yeah.
like I said to you, if you've got a 100-yard club in your bag, then a lot of your pitching is based around that.
Yeah.
Super, Gary.
I'm really happy. I mean, my main takeaway from today was to try to feel as though my strike had improved a little bit, and I can certainly say we've ticked that box.
Great.
I'm not silly, and I know it's going to be a long road.
Yeah.
This is just the start, but I think I've got something to take away, which I'm happy with. So
the fun thing is getting out there and just, even if you played 9 holes this afternoon or you went and tested it out, it's just having that 1 or 2 extra better shots, better pitches. Might set up a birdie, or you might hit it out the trees and then pitch for par. It's still whatever it is, it's still pitching, and it's still the same number. So the fun thing is obviously then the feedback is, oh, you know what, I got up and down twice.
Yeah.
You know, which is those little small victories that give you that confidence. It's great.
So guys, out of my first lesson with James Freeman, obviously James's diary's open if you want to make a lesson book with him. It might not be till sort of like December, January, you know, well, actually this video is going to be delayed a couple of weeks before it goes out, but some exciting stuff to come from, obviously, you know, us doing the lessons, but also we might have a coaching trip of our own next year as well. We're talking about potentially trying to do some sort of coaching trips abroad, and you know, having a bit of a Gary's team versus James's team. I know you'll all want to be on James's team, but you know, we'll have a good competitive game.
Yeah, it'd be good fun.
Some like coaching classes, so plenty to come. But yeah, this is starting an exciting journey, and I appreciate that, James.
Pleasure.
Thanks a lot.
Well done.
Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're just tuning in, and we'll see you in a few days' time. Bye.